The informal sector has, of course, been a point of focus in Nigeria for quite a while because of the number of jobs that it employs. And also, for the amount of money that the players in that sector earn, which isn't much. MoniePoint has been doing this for a little while now, putting out this informal economy report. This is the 2025 version. And there's a lot of nuggets in there, including, the fact that a lot of people who get into the informal sector are not doing it out of passion. It's mostly out of survival. This was, of course, done in collaboration with the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and also with SMEDEN, Small Medium Enterprise Development Agency. We're happy to have Didi Uwemakpan, who is the Vice President of Corporate Affairs at MoniePoint, to discuss. Didi, thanks for joining us. Great to have you.
Thank you for having us.
I wanted to start with, of course, you've collaborated with SMEDEN, also with the Ministry of Industry, Trade, Investment. What was that process like? How long did it take to put this report together, and what was the input from those bodies?
It took us well over 6 months. We started at the start of the year. But for us, context on the entire report is we're in every single community in Nigeria, and we've served a lot of these people. And we realized that with better government and systemic support, they would do better. And for us, it was like, how do we then help the governments with data that can then inform these policies? And we went to the Ministry of Trade, we went to SMEDEN. And so what we've done along the way is figure out what kind of data do they need and work with them to then produce this. And this time, our favorite innovation is a chatbot we call M. And when you go into M, you can ask anything. But then M doesn't just give you information on the informal reports, it also gives you on MBS SMEDEN as well. And so that aggregated data, working with them is super important to ensure that businesses and everyone has the right information they need to make decisions on the informal economy.
So M is AI then?
M is AI.
Yes, everybody's doing it. Of course, you guys are at the forefront of tech, right? What you're doing. So good to see that you did that. All right, so I guess the first point I want to ask about is, on the amount of youth. It says here Nigeria's informal economy is still largely young and growing. So we got here 25 to 34, 38%, and then 35 to 44, 35%. So you add that up, 25 up to 44. I mean, you're looking at what? So that's almost 80, right? Going well past 70. So why do so many young people? Why are there so many young people employed in the informal? Is it that they cannot? Are they unable to get into corporate Nigeria? Well, what's your thoughts on inform that?
I would say it's because formality is not growing and formal jobs are not growing at the same rate as the youth population. And so what then happens is they look for low barrier entries to earning some income. And the lowest barrier today is retail and trade, which is what we'll see. But it's also like businesses that you cannot, they start out as informal businesses. Of course, along the way, they would then formalize if the situations are right. But it's, what is the lowest barrier to earning income when I'm grown?
Right.
And because formal jobs are not growing at the same rate as the youth population, you have a lot of young people out of jobs, out of formal jobs. Okay,
I want to ask you about just your thoughts on the ability to scale job training. Arise News were at the World Bank IMF meetings in DC, and part of the conversation there was on getting more young people employed. So I want to play a clip from the head of Generation, the company called an NGO called Generation that is training youth and trying to get them in. I just want to get your thoughts on how that can be replicated. I know we're doing it here, but how to scale it. So let's take a look at that.
So at Generation, we work now across 17 countries and 40 professions to train and place people into new careers. And so what we seek to do is within 3 to 6 months to take an unemployed person, get them trained and skilled for a new career, get them on the job so that they can start earning for their families and for themselves.
So I know this is being done here. The Digital Economy Ministry with Dr. Bosun Tijani, they're doing 3MT. They're trying to train 3 million software engineers. But I guess the issue is scale. How to scale this. What are your thoughts on that, on the training aspect?
Interesting, because even at MoniePoint as well, we've had like various trainings, One Dream Devs to help serve as a pipeline for software engineers to then learn about the engineering sector and then join organizations. But the thing is, it needs to be structural. If you look at a lot of Western societies, vocational trainings are important, an important part to join the job sector afterwards to get employment. And so it's important for us to then elevate vocational trainings in Nigeria. Polytechnics used to be, they still are a thing, but how respected is that path? And it's important for us to elevate that. The Ministry of Education has to be deliberate about it. And so that on a much wider scale, hey, you don't have to go this one way. There are many other ways you can go. You can choose, I want to do this training, and then I'm going to get employment afterwards. So yes, completely agree that it needs scale, but the scale has to be systemic through the Ministry of Education.
Gotcha. I think the Ministry of Labor also has to play a role in there as well. All right. Your report, women continue to own fewer informal businesses than men. We live in a patriarchal society. There's a number of socioeconomic matters. Why do you think this is? You got 65% men there to 35% for women. What continues to be the reason why this is so lopsided?
Yeah, it's a complex answer, but some of it is cultural. I think what we generally are trying to focus on is how do we design policies, how do we design gender-responsive policies that help. An example would be a lot of women don't own collateral in their name. They own it it's grouped. It is Mr. and Mrs. this. And so by a lot of people, it's not accepted. But then how do we then build policies that start accepting things like that and understand that, hey, the woman is going to be pregnant for this period. How is her business sustained? A lot of informal businesses don't have this structure. And so what happens is if you're pregnant, you might have to close down the business for a bit. And so it does make sense that the numbers are this way, but it's important. And that's why we're doing this kind of reports so that the government and SMEDAN can look at it and say, hey, how do we design policies to support women through their journey and the journey of their business as well.
Gotcha. All right. From there, our next statistic is on the regions, right? So Southwest, 33% as far as the concentration of informal businesses, North Central 16, Northeast 6. So Northeast is in single digits here. Everyone else is in double. And then out of the Southwest, Lagos, right? So I guess, let me first ask you about the dominance of the Southwest and Lagos playing a big role. And there's Lagos, there's 16%. Everybody else is the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, top 10. So dominance of the Southwest and Lagos playing a role. Is it if you have an informal business, you want to go where people have money to pay for your stuff, and that's where everybody is?
Yeah, it's even informal or not. It's the nature of business. It is where is there demand? Where can people pay for what I want? Where is there a need for what I even can provide? And then where you have Lagos State, Lagos is the most populous Nigeria city or the second, and it's one of Africa's most populous cities as well. So it makes sense that everyone would want to open a business here. And if there's a lot of migration here, then people are thinking, okay, what can I do? Because same thing, the formal jobs would not be enough to cater for the entire population. So people then start thinking of ways they can generate income for themselves. So it does, it's no surprise that Lagos is really at the heart of this.
Yeah. I won't say the state. I was in the state for an event and I tried to order food on a Sunday morning and they were like, we're closed or not. I can get food as late as 24/7 in Lagos. Meanwhile, all these other regions they're not able to do that. I bring that up because I want to ask you what the other regions, actually before we get here, let's go back. What can the other regions do to compete? So what can the other regions do to compete to the Southwest? What can other states do to compete with Lagos to try to bring these numbers up?
Yeah, I would say first, right, it's still a demand problem because the number of people who probably try to order food at night in the state you went to were probably just not as many.
Right.
Enough to then warrant someone to create some business around it. But a lot of it is also then just providing access to infrastructure on a larger scale. And an example for us at MoniePoint is we're everywhere, right? When we were trying to set up in different places, we had to look for the human resources. And we found these people, and these people were ready to do work for us. And so the point here is, are we thinking of ways to then scale infrastructure so that a lot more people can wake up and say, I want to offer services in this market. And maybe we're not just seeing the opportunity because Certainly, I know I mentioned a lot of things around population and then demand, but in a number of the states, there is population.
Yeah.
And so we then need to think about how do we drive up demand?
Okay.
And that's some work that the government needs to do.
Wait, can we have the states? My state is actually here. I'll openly say we're not. Can we get the? I know
This is my
Wait, so this is me. I'm Delta. So we're at 6%. Yeah. Are you in the top? Are you in the top 10?
I'm not in the top 10. Wow.
Your state is not in the top 10. Okay, I just small bragging, but I'm not from Lagos, so Lagos is the one that has the real bragging. All right. Now the next data point. And look, this is we could be here for 2 hours. We couldn't get everything in this interview because very good report. I encourage everybody to read it. So yeah, getting to the bread and butter here. This, as far as the services that were dominated here, why is retail and trade so dominant in terms of the 44% of the type of informal businesses that
right. So I'll take people who are very familiar with Nigeria, who grew up in Nigeria way back.
Yeah.
Think about very many years ago, when people have houses, they would open a small shop in front of the house to help with cash flow. And so it's very low barrier. It is, I have this amount of money. How can I I'll get a few things and start selling. I open a pharmacy, I open a grocery store. So it's very low barrier. It doesn't require a lot of capital. It just requires enough to do what you need to do and then put it back in the business and do what you need to do. And that's why retail and trade is up there.
Okay, help us out. What's in other services? Because I know there's other industries, there's agriculture, arts, entertainment, education. I mean, what's it?
Yeah. So context for this is how the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics actually classifies businesses. And under other services, you find it's called personal services. So things like beauty, wellness, just different services that people provide in various ways. And then you have like religious associations, civil societies. So services that are not exactly, you're not able to classify, and then they're not so much for you to then give them a classification of their own.
Look, when the Bureau of Statistics rebased GDP, they said they would start looking at illegal activities and, some other. Where would... Yeah, we talked about this before we came on it. Where would intimate, quote unquote, services fall? Would it be here?
I think it would be very much other services. Yeah. And then if they are selling things like, they need you to use this for something, then it would be on the retail and trade.
Okay. Camera guy is laughing. All right. Okay, so we move from there. Thank you. Hey, data is data. Okay, now, gotta ask you about this. Your report here shows informal businesses are becoming more averse to credits. Is this a surprise? I mean, by nature of being an informal business, you're not formally recognized. So would you be able to get a loan from a bank?
Yes.
Help us
so
out.
The thing about credit with them is they are able to take from cooperatives. They're able to take from family and friends. But what we even saw this year is that they're like, I'm not even taking from family and friends. And I believe it's a few things. It is them... they want to be self-sustaining and they don't want to
be a burden.
They would. A lot of them are also religious, so they say, "Oh no, God forbid, I'm not going to take credit." And so there are ways for them to take credit. I know I was with Sweden the other day, and they were talking about how when you register with them, there are opportunities to take credit from different cooperatives as well.
Right.
So there are, but even what we're looking at, and that's why this report exists, is we're looking at ways. Today, MoniePoint is able to give credit to small businesses who are formal through transaction data. So you do transactions with us.
So you can see volumes.
Exactly. And so we can scale that with better policies where these people still do transactions. How can we give them credit? And of course, that's with policy that allows for that. But there are so many other ways to look at their business and to look at the things that they do and say, hey, I can give you credit. And we have data that we all know actually, with more credit, your business can scale.
Well, exactly.
And we want to move these people away from survival to like just being a sustainable sector for us.
Yeah, the US, Europe, they run on credit, right? Consumer credit. All right, so I guess, look, as I said, a very thorough report. There's so much. Just to round off and complete everything, I know the government worked with you on this, but what do you want the main takeaway to be for government, private sector folks that go through this report?
Right. First, we did an experiment. So we have M, and please play around with M.
Okay.
we asked them, well, what would you like the president of Nigeria to take out of the report?
Okay.
And came up with a few things. But one major takeout for us is these businesses need a simple way to come into the sector that can then help them scale. And so we're looking for like a CAC Lite where people can easily register their businesses, maybe via USSD or something that requires today. Today, if you had to register, you're being asked for like a board resolution and different things.
Right.
They're just going to say, hey, I don't want to do this. So it's important that we start thinking of what are simple ways to allow them get formal. The way you have personal banking tiers, right? You have like people at the very bottom, and that's how we have to start thinking about it. Same for taxes. They pay a lot of levies. We need to move from where they think formalizing their businesses is enforcement. It's empowerment. Yeah. And that's how we need to position it. So where we show you that, oh, you're paying this many levies, but if you register, you're only going to pay this one.
Gotcha.
And there are a lot more, to be honest, but we're working with the government to ensure that these policies are clear, and then we can drive change.
Hey, we thank you. We thank the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, run by, of course, Dr. Jumoke Oduwole and Smeeden. You guys coming together. Thanks for doing the work. And everybody, check out, look, we are AI obsessed on this show. So everybody check out
Thank you.
Didi
Informal report, theMoniePoint.com.
Informal report, MoniePoint.com. Didi Uwemakpan, who, of course, Vice President of Corporate Affairs over at MoniePoint. Yes. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Otis. I appreciate it.